Hello everybody! Welcome to the channel! If you haven't been here before, my name is Debbie and I read a lot of books. Unfortunately, the very beginning of this video got wiped and I have no idea how. But the videos that were saved started at the blurb. So you'll only see me like this for a moment as I welcome you to the video and introduce you to the blurb of The Perfect Parents by J.A. Baker. Take it away, past Debs. Jackson and Lydia Hemsworth are pillars of the community, fated for having the perfect marriage and three wonderful children, Florence, Jessica and Ezra. But appearances can be deceptive, because behind closed doors Jackson Hemsworth rules his family with cruelty and control. His marriage is a sham. His children for years have cowered in fear, until the day that Jackson and Lydia throw themselves off Newport Bridge in a joint suicide pact. The final cruel blow by Jackson to control his wife and torture his adult children. As the Hemsworth siblings return to their family home, they must try to make sense of their parents' last act, but there are many dark secrets waiting to be unearthed at Armitt House. Like, why are the townsfolk so suddenly hostile towards them? And who are the strangers who arrive at Armitt House unannounced? And why has their mother's body still not been found? In the aftermath of their parents' death, it becomes clear that something terrible is about to be exposed about the Hemsworths' perfect parents, a secret they may all wish had stayed hidden. This wasn't a very long book, it's 230 pages in crime, thriller, detective and psychological fiction, and this e-version was released 26th of February 2024. So, this is one of those ones where you read it and you just think, how can so much shit happen to one family? But having lived through what was a very shit year in my family, when the phrase "it couldn't get worse" gets uttered, I'm just like, oh, you're tempting fate there. Yeah, I got through this very quickly. I did this over 2 days. I could not put it down. I just wanted to know what was happening and what was going on. The very first chapter, you see the point of view of a woman who is dying in a pool of her own blood. And you have no idea who this person is. And then the second chapter is the parents, and you see them jump off the bridge. And then you cut to now, where you alternate between Jessica and Florence, the sisters, who are full-on adults, and they have found out that their parents had a suicide pact. They jumped off the bridge and they have just had their father's funeral, and obviously, as judged by the blurb, they are kind of relieved that he is dead, because while they seem like the perfect parents to any outsiders inside their house, Armitt House, he was an abusive man. He abused his wife, he abused his kids, and they lived in terror, living in that house with their parents. And their mother has not been found after jumping off the bridge. She is presumed dead at this point, but they can't actually go ahead with anything until either her body is found or they give up on looking for her and go for a presumed death certificate. I'm not completely sure of the wording there, but yeah, basically it's the idea that all three siblings are going to go to the house, clear it out, and get it ready to put on the market for when the inevitable happens of either their mother being found dead or the mother being presumed dead, which will allow them to release the house and get it on the market. It's like a grand house and that they grew up in, find out that their parents weren't actually that rich and they actually inherited the house. And so yeah, it's a very grand house behind gates and like a mile driveway. And yeah, so after all meeting at the funeral, the three siblings, and you get this undercurrent of how much they hated their father, and then throughout the book you drip fed just how bad it was and how bad their father actually was. And yeah, so you understand like where they are mentally in regards to the death of their parents and the death of their father specifically, and how they feel about that. And then also realising that even kind of the idea that realising that their mother was a victim as much as they were, and the fact that they would just love to know what happened to their mother and they don't really believe that their parents would have had a suicide pact. They think that it's their father's one last attempt to control before killing himself, and how even from beyond the grave they are still being influenced by their father's control and abuse. And there's so many secrets regarding the house. You know, they've got this massive stench. They've got a guy who works on site who is helping them to get rid of the smell by just basically trying to get all these dead rats out of the house. And you've got the fact that there seems to be a connection between two missing people with the house and people who have worked there, and it was just a ride to read this book. It was a full-on roller coaster, and it was just event after event after event of just like people like turning up at the window and they're just like, "You're trespassing, we're calling the police." And ultimately the girls do actually do everything right in the end. You're not just there going, you're not there like screaming at the book going, "Why didn't you call the police?" and all this, because ultimately, even if they do have a waiver of what to do, they ultimately both do the right thing eventually. And you understand the headspace they're in with all these things happening back to back, from the death of their father to the whole thing of trying to figure out what happened to their mother, if their mother's body's going to be recovered and all this. And yeah, it was just so good. I'm not going to say too much because it'll spoil it, but as I said, it's mainly the sisters that you're seeing. You see their interactions with their brother Ezra, but as it goes on you become more aware as to why you're not hearing the point of view of Ezra, and you see their relationship with Ezra's girlfriend and the secrets that all come out after their father dies. It was so good. And it's weird because the pacing of it is interesting, because you've just got one event after another, almost like a horror movie style thing where you've got the continual jump scares. It's got that kind of rhythm to it in regards to like things being found and things happening. To be honest, it probably could work as kind of a thriller horror story because you've got this isolated house and everything that happens. And it feels quite psychological as well because of what their father put them through and the things they're figuring out in regards to their mother. And it's like, the book's called The Perfect Parent, so you know the mother isn't completely innocent in this, and you're trying to figure out what the mother was hiding, because we already know the secrets of what happened behind closed doors with their father. But yeah, so you got all this secret building and things coming out, and you're just there going, this is just... It's just one of those things where it's just like, just things keep happening in this family that are just tearing their lives apart. And there's stuff that the community has been like spreading rumours about the family, and all these rumours come to the forefront when their father and their mother jump off the bridge. Yeah, it was just so good, and I feel like I need to wrap this up because my camera looks like it's about to die. But yeah, The Perfect Parents, or The Perfect Liars by J.A. Baker. This was so good. So if you like the psychological, if you like almost horror style, you're definitely going to enjoy this book. And you've also got that mystery all the way through of figuring out who was the woman dying in her own blood at the very, very first chapter. Oh, yeah. So I recommend this to anybody who likes a good thriller, psychological, murder mystery. It's got a bit of everything for everybody in here. But yeah, so my battery's flashing, telling me that I need to wrap this up. So just thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time with another video. And yeah, I totally recommend The Perfect Parents by J.A. Baker. It's just so good. It was so good. It was so good. But yeah, so thanks again, and I will see you next time with another video. Stay safe. Bye.